In this special episode, we look back on some previous episodes where Ryan has addressed the ongoing coronavirus pandemic and the strategies that he's used to help him remain successful and profitable throughout this time. I hope you enjoyed this special episode. Let us know what you think at RyanOttoX and leave a review.
Hey podcasters, so this episode is, it's a bit of a different episode today. I mean, I'm tight for time as well, so I need to be mindful of the time. I've got a couple of meetings online or some WhatsApp video calls from a couple of people from overseas, some business people where I'm talking to them to get them on the podcast so I can deliver as much value to my audience, to you guys, to everybody watching on social, listening on the podcast, watching on the YouTube channel, etc. Because we're going into very, very difficult times now. We're already in the difficult times, but the times are very, very challenging ahead for many businesses, small, big, many families. There's chaos and destruction going on right now. You don't need me to be the bearer of the bad news. You've seen the news. You know what's happening. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, who knows if it's a world recession? It could be. Who knows if it's going to be as bad as the 2008 crash that, many of us on here have been through. I've been through that one. I've been investing in property, real estate, business since the year 2000. So I've seen a few cycles, okay? So it's not new to me. It's very worrying, very alarming. But it's not brand new to me because I have the hindsight, I have the knowledge, I have the experience, I have the scars, I have the wounds of the pain of going through this before 2008. And obviously coming out of it and the problems and challenges around 2001 as things started to pick up as well. So it's very difficult for everybody, especially people who don't have the knowledge or experience that have been through this before in the past, okay? So to some of those guys, their world is finished, their world is ending, their world is crumbling, everything they've built, their families, how they're gonna feed them, not being dramatic, but some of those are real issues right now, because who knows how far this is going to go, who knows how low the markets are going to crash. Who knows where the bottom of the property market will be if that crashes as well, and how long it will take to bounce back, and who will be there to rebuild and rejuvenate things when this is all over. I mean, who can survive? Who can keep the cash flow going, etc. So those are lots of questions and challenges and things on people's minds that everyone's discussing right now. I'm just going to pour this tea. It's jasmine tea. I've gone back into drinking jasmine tea. I went out in the West End the other night, near Chinatown, which is sort of a no-go area. Some people would say maybe it's the safest area to be at the same time. Who knows? But yeah, I went to Chinatown and to Wasabi Thai, fantastic Thai restaurant that me and my partner and family and lots of us really like and enjoy. And I had the jasmine pearl tea, and oh my gosh, it brought some memories back to years ago, where a friend of mine called Ming, he owns a Thai restaurant in Bury St Edmunds, and we did launch parties and different events, and I always used to use him to do the catering. He owned two Thai restaurants. I think one was in Southend. I never went to that one, and the other one was in Bury St Edmunds, right in the town centre. So we always used him for all of the events that we had, the launch parties, etc., etc. One of them's on the internet, the launch party, because I actually invited Michael Caine to come along to host the event, or to have a celebrity there who was launching like a hybrid online agency, an online letting agency and guaranteed rental company, doing things very differently. And this would have been around about 2008. I think this was after that crash. I just scaled one of my companies, or a few areas of my companies up, which was online lettings. It was online estate agency and stuff like that. So that was around 2008, in the aftermath of the 2008 crash. So yeah, I tried to reach out to Michael Caine to get him to come. He wouldn't come, and or he said no politely. So what I did is I actually drafted in the number one Michael Caine lookalike, right? And obviously, being a marketer, being a businessman, being an entrepreneur, I was very creative, very careful with the truth. Stretched it as much as I could without breaking it. And what it enabled me to do was like a PR stunt. God, this is going back about 12 years. What it enabled me to do, I'm going off, I've digressed slightly, so I won't spend too much time on this. What it enabled me to do is to get the lookalike, leverage the Michael Caine lookalike, to launch the party, to be there for everyone hearing the news. I got the news involved. The news said that he was coming or might be coming. And then this other guy was there, the lookalike. People wasn't sure. They didn't know, is it him, etc., etc. Anyway, then the press came down on the day and did some filming and stuff like that. And then he heard, obviously, Michael Caine, his agency, that we used his name very creatively. So I actually got a public rap on the knuckles from his agency, threatening to sue me, my company, threatening a lawsuit if I didn't do exactly what they said, which was a legal letter, and they said that there were certain things that they wanted me to do, and there'll be no further action. So I was happy with the PR, the coverage, the leverage that I got, the conversation, the dialogue, all the drama. I had to do a public reply, which was in the public domain because a newspaper then approached me, wanted a story, which was the exact thing that we wanted to achieve. So in the end, it all worked out for the best. Michael Caine, his agency, they were happy. He was happy, managed to get some headlines and get in the business section, or I'm not sure if it hit the front page of the newspaper, but the local newspapers spun the story and reported on it. And it was great PR and coverage, which is what was controversial, but what I needed at the time. Anyway, that's the story about the Thai restaurant, which is how I fell in love again recently from this year, with jasmine tea. Now, onto a more serious note. Sorry, I digressed there, guys. Now, it's very difficult times right now for everybody. There's very tough decisions to make ahead for families, for businesses, for everybody. I mean, right now I've got some calls which are straight after this, which I have to make, some very difficult calls. One of them is there's several calls to business partners. One of them is some partners that have some serviced accommodation properties. I've got, I'm not sure if you guys... Just to give you some background, I've got multiple portfolios in different cities. We're currently in 6 cities now we've just gone into with serviced accommodation. I've taken on joint venture partners, been working with them for some time, teaching them, training them, mentoring them, and they've been going out and finding their own deals. I've been helping them, answering their questions, helping them get the property set up, drafting in my team, stylists, people that do listings, people that are managing the properties and the bookings online, etc. And I've been obviously consulting with them as an advisor and putting the funds in. So I've been funding them as well. So I've got, various joint venture partners which have their own portfolios which they manage and they share with a holding company, which I have, the profits. And they're just waiting with bated breath, what do we do next? They've never been involved. They don't know how this really works. So at this level, which is where the problems are, which is when the wheels can fall off for some people who don't know, which I see all over the internet now, all of these mentors and service accommodation gurus, which just makes me laugh. They popped up from nowhere. They've done somebody else's £99 course. Now they're their own guru. They spent some money on Facebook ads, and now they're like, ta-da! Everybody needs to come to them because they're perceived to be the best people at it by talking a lot or talking a good game. But when it comes down to the numbers and what they're doing, etc., many of them are teaching because they can't do. Anyway, they haven't been through the 2008 crisis. They haven't seen this before. They're now in uncharted waters themselves, and I don't know if they know what they need to be doing to then teach their people that they're mentoring how they can navigate through this, because the teacher has never actually been through this, unless they did get started over 2 weeks ago, and they've been doing it through the earlier crash. 2008, 2 weeks ago. That's just, a little joke that some of us have about how long they've been in the property business. Anyway, so yeah, my team are now waiting for some answers from me to say, where do we go now? What's the direction? What's the plan, Ryan? How do we get out of this? How do we weather the storm? How do we keep the bookings coming in? How do we deal with Booking.com? How can we stop the cancellations because of the policies on the coronavirus for Booking.com and they're refunding non-refundable bookings and everything like that? Anyway, so I've got some very tough decisions to make with some of the partners. How we're going to, keep things moving, keep things balanced, keep the cash flow coming in, and obviously, ride this moment out as best we can without putting too much money in, which is a plan. I don't want to be plugging, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 units with my own cash. So, yeah, lots of discussing meetings, how we can drive this forward, which is going to be taking place right after this call. And then there's some calls with some other partners we're about to start working with in different countries, which I'm bringing onto the podcast to deliver as much value for all of my audience, listeners, everybody watching on the channel or channels right now. Because right now, if you don't move quick, if you don't act fast like that, if you don't evolve what you're doing and use the different strategies, I mean, if you can imagine, I have a big toolbox or a safe or a chest that you could say, or a lorry, probably an Arctic lorry, okay? That Arctic lorry is full up with property investment strategies. When they're working at the time, they're out and they're being used. When they're not working because of the climate, because of the market, because of the conditions, because of the finance or the lack of finance, because of prices rising, because of prices falling, prices stagnating, a bull market, a bear market, a crash, a recession, a credit crunch. There's different tools for different times and different strategies and different markets at different points in the cycle. So if you can imagine, they're all in that cupboard, or they're all in that van, or they're all in my Arctic lorry, which is huge. And now I just open the lorry and go back to, look at that. It's not great because of the climate we're in. It's just a different tool, which is exciting to use. It's nothing great about it because lots of people lose their houses in recessions and downturns. Lots of people lose their jobs. Lots of families are struggling. Lots of businesses go under, etc., etc. So it's not anything to be praised or excited about. But I mean, I just go to this vault now. I go to this Arctic lorry and I open it up. And the first thing that I can see are the different strategies, the different tools that now I need to be using. Like, for example, there's one particular tool which hasn't worked since about 2010, but now it works and now it's rife. And, I exhausted that particular tool from about 2008 to about 2011, which was in the aftermath of the property crash. So as the market's changing and, potentially falling, nobody knows how far it's going to go. Is it going to be a crash? Who knows? This tool right now is the tool for the time, for the climate that many investors won't even know about unless they started investing before 2007, you could say, or 2006. So they won't actually know about this strategy. Might have heard about it, other people talking about it. They might read a book about it and then try to teach some people about it, but they've never actually been in the trenches. They've never actually done the deals. They've never actually had any skin in the game. They've never actually put any money in. They've never actually had the real world knowledge of using some of these strategies, which I'm sharing or or will be sharing in another episode of this podcast with you guys, with my team, with my joint venture partners, with everybody that listens to my episodes here, which is now a top-rated business and entrepreneurship podcast. I'm really glad about my audience. So now we're strategizing so I can give back to you guys something which will help weather the storm, something which will help for the now, a strategy for the now. A strategy or strategies that don't take a lot of money to get started. You can start them from home. You can start them with no money. Some of these need no money down. And you can acquire property or buy property, control property, secure property, lock in assets now as things are falling or people are accepting lower prices. And then when the market bottoms out and comes back is the time where your profits will go from here to here. So I'm going to be going deeper in another episode, just breaking down those strategies that work right now in the market. And my team are putting them together right now. It's Sunday. I'm at home. I'm recording this, like last minute episode. I'm going to send it to Adam, my videographer, who does all of the audio and does all of the filming. Tomorrow or tonight or this afternoon, he'll have it. And then this will be up tomorrow or up by Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest, because you guys need to see this. You guys need to hear this. And that episode is going to be game changing for many of you guys. And I think I just want to give you as much value as possible to help you guys weather the storm through this climate. So, just to let you guys know what else is happening. I mean, going back to that portfolio that I mentioned earlier, I have, many different portfolios with different joint venture partners. And let's talk about the ones that are on booking.com. We've seen cancellation after cancellation after cancellation after cancellation after cancellation after cancellation after cancellation, non-stop now for probably about the last 3 days. They've gone from here, the average cancellations we get, to like here, which is just back-to-back cancellations. People cancelling their non-refundable bookings and people cancelling their bookings in advance, because they can within something like 14 days, I think it is, depending on the policy they're booked on. Excuse me. So there's tough times happening right now. So we need to get together to strategize about how we're going to weather the storm and get through this at scale. It's not as if it's just, putting our toe in the water with one property and, it's not so bad if it doesn't make money or it sits empty for 4 months, for argument's sake, it could do. It's like, well, there's 5 here, there's 10 there, there's 20 here. I mean, now we're looking at these and these and these and these. So can you do this at scale? The answer to that is yes, but you don't want all of your money to be running out as we're about to go into the spring and summer by propping up these properties. So big decisions need to be made right now. Okay. So the numbers are down on that side of the portfolio. Luckily, I have other flows of income, different businesses, different investments, different property strategies, from rooms to HMOs to straight buy to let to professional sharers to student accommodation to booking.com to midterm lets to corporate tenants to companies that pay way in advance, to a top-rated podcast which generates money, to training, to the mentorships, to the partnerships I have, to the media company that we're building as well. There's lots of different flows of income, some bring in more than others. So because of that, it enables you to keep moving at difficult times like this. I mean, if you have one flow of income and that takes a dive, then you're in trouble, and then the thought process changes, and then you're in sort of survival mode, and you're maybe not thinking straight, and you maybe can't scale, and you can't grow things, and you can't leverage money from over there, and then your cash flow's depleted, etc. That's the problem with only having one flow of income. So luckily, I have multiple flows of income that I've built up, and it's those which are going to weather anybody through the storm who is facing a similar situation. Okay, so lots of challenges ahead for lots of people. I've actually self-isolated as well for the last few days. I think we're going to do it for a week or so, me and my partner. We have been out, so I'm saying self-isolating, but we have been out for emergency things like food, and things like that we are hoarding a bit, not really hoarding, but trying to get a month's worth of supplies just in case. Nobody knows how far this is going to go. I mean, if they follow the other countries and there is a quarantine or like a lockdown for 1 week to 1 month, other countries have done it for 2 weeks, etc., maybe a bit more in China, then what's going to happen with the food? So yes, we are buying reasonable things, just some tins and some pastas and some spaghetti and macaroni and long life things that last a bit longer. We're not doing the toilet roll thing. We're doing the very important necessities, rice, etc., but keeping it fair for other people as well. Okay, shopping around online as well. So we're going out for things like that, but we are self-isolating just to be sure, and not taking too many risks. So yeah, I'm actually going to I've been compiling some strategies for landlords that work right now. So if you're a landlord and you're feeling the pinch, maybe you've got a vacant property or it's about to be vacant, or your tenants have given notice, or you know that some of your tenants are going to be laid off, or that it might happen in the next few weeks or already has happened. So you're going to be feeling the pinch there as well. So we've got some strategies for you guys to use, which I will be sharing in another episode for you guys. I'll let you know. So make sure you are subscribed to this podcast, and the second that goes live, obviously you get access to that information straight away. The same thing for some investors, property investors, scratching their heads now thinking, well, I bought this property course and I've done exactly what they said and they told me everything's great and amazing, it works in a rising market, but now what happens? So those guys may be scratching their heads thinking, what do I do now? And the mentors will be like, some of them who know what to do, who are actually been through this and doing the deals, who knows how much they're going to charge these people. Those investors might not have the money to pay those mentors for their mentorship to get them through the difficult, challenging seas that we're all faced with now. So maybe they're just sitting there scratching their heads. So there's going to be something I'm releasing as well in the next few days for investors, new investors, beginners, seasoned investors that have been in after 2008. They haven't gone through a crash. Strategies for investors that have been in before 2008. Like when I've been in from the year 2000. So we've been in a rising market, we've been in a flat market, a bull market, a bear market, a downturn, a property crash, then another cycle, etc. So the credit crunch and now the coronavirus. So those investors, there's different strategies I'll be sharing for those guys to keep things moving, increase their profits, secure more property, acquire more assets, etc. in these challenging times. So look out for those. Look out for those guys. So yeah, I'll be putting my best training together for that as well. I mean, it will also help businesses that are struggling, some small businesses, some big businesses that are struggling, to help, keep the cogs moving in their company, to help them grow, to help them keep the cash flow coming in, to get them into some sensible investments and different vehicles that are making money and producing good cash flow now. There'll be some other strategies that I'll be sharing, which will help small and any business really struggling, and any person, anybody who's looking for another flow of income. Okay, it's very simple. From anybody looking for another flow of income, all the way up to property investors, seasoned veterans, businesses trying to expand their cash flow, build their company, or grow their portfolio. Okay, guys. Now, yeah, I just wanted to give you a little update. What's happening? It's Sunday, the 15th of March. I'm just about to go on a few important calls, but I wanted to squeeze this in before at home. Before I obviously just jump into those calls. I just wanted to record this episode just to give you guys a little update what's going on, to you guys to stay strong, to stay safe, to stay educated, and to keep looking and searching inside yourself and online and where you can with information to find out the best way for you to move forward, to protect yourself, to protect your company, to protect your cash flow, to protect your families, which is the most important thing right now. So I hope you got some value from this episode. It was just a quick podcast, a little CEO diary that I can give you on this busy Sunday afternoon while my team is sitting down strategizing how we're going to drive things forward and how we're going to weather the storm on lots of different fronts, and some new exciting things that we're launching right now for you guys, which will help right now in the climate. All of you listening right now, my listeners that I really value and appreciate. Everybody watching on the vlog, everybody watching on YouTube, everybody watching these clips on TikTok, etc. So I really appreciate all of you guys. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode, and stay safe and stay strong, and at the moment stay away from other people is what they're saying. How to get rich off the coronavirus. Shit. I said it. Coronavirus and rich in the same sentence. Now, I don't mean, doing crap things, doing shitty things like, holding back or buying toilet roll in bulk and selling that shit for 3, 4, 5, 10 times more to vulnerable people that need it. No. I'm not talking about buying antibacterial wash and shit like that, rice, pasta, and storing it, buying it in bulk and selling it for 10, 20, 30 times more because people need to eat or keep clean. No. That shit. Don't do that shit. What I'm talking about is how to get rich off the coronavirus. So let me explain what I mean by that. Making money and getting access to unlimited opportunities, because right now, during the pandemic, in the coronavirus, shit, you can. There is money to be made everywhere. There's unlimited opportunities that you can get access to, which are everywhere because of everything that's happened. Now, if you guys wasn't killing it already, in your company, before the coronavirus, then you're fucked. And you need this episode. You need this podcast. You need me right now. I'm going to share with you how you can get every agent in your city calling you. Now, why would you want them calling you? So you can get a constant flow of deals. I'm talking about deals that you can rent, deals that you can use as rent-to-rents, deals that you can lease, you can provide guaranteed rent on. And I'm also talking about estate agents giving you deals that you can buy below the market value I'm talking about. You're also going to be able to, build relationships. So you can do deals with these agents as the market comes back, and right now as well, and in better times. Fuck. There's people getting fired. Unemployment is rising. People are forced into unemployment by no fault of their own. The high streets will never, ever, ever, ever look or be the same again after this. Because right now, you guys have the opportunity to get rich off the coronavirus. I said it again, but it's okay. Now, this is not complicated, okay? The gurus, the so-called gurus that pisses me off, they want to confuse you. They want to make out that this shit, making money in property, making money in business, they want to make out, those fucking gurus, that shit is complicated. So you guys think that you need to buy more of their shit, some property course, to give you the answers, to give you the secrets, to give you the nuggets, to give you the missing bits. That's bollocks. I'm here to do one thing, to tell all of you the truth. You don't need to buy that shit or get fed that shit anymore. Your time, my friend, is now. Information is free if you hadn't noticed. Fuck. I give away my best content, my best tactics, my best strategies every single day or several times a week on this fucking podcast. It's 100% free. So you guys no longer have any excuses that you couldn't feed your family or you couldn't pay your bills. So let me explain a bit more about how this strategy works and what I'm talking about. When shit gets real, like it is now, my friends, listen, I had over 100 tenants that were on the verge of may not being able to pay the rent to me, to my company. More or less all at the same time in the space of about 3 weeks when the rent due dates were coming up. Now, shit got real in my company, in my mind, in my soul, and I had to pivot fast. Or, that's it, game over. Because I was overexposed in property. I've got different portfolios with different things, with student lets, with corporate lets, with booking.com or, like Airbnb style, and then normal tenants, and then some buy-to-letters, and then we got some shared houses, and then we got some HMOs, and we got professional tenants and mid-term tenants and corporate and everything else. But when there's no employment, or when unemployment is rising, people are losing their jobs like that, then the tenants can't pay the rent. So yeah, shit got real for me in my portfolio, and I had to pivot and do things differently. But let me tell you what I learned about myself doing that, and I had the confidence from before in the 2008 crash as well, to do things differently, knowing that I had to. There's no alternative. Otherwise, what is the alternative? Go bankrupt, run out of money, have no deals left, no properties, lose the portfolio, everything that I've built up again and again and again, and then start from scratch. Yeah, I've done it many times before in the past, but I didn't need to be doing it again right now because I had the answers, I had the solutions that was inside me, and I have the confidence from doing this from before. To tell the truth, I actually enjoy these moments deep down. Even though they are scary as fuck, the risks are so high. You can lose everything. But it forces me to do, it forces me to, wake that hustler up inside me to get shit done when the risk is my family may not be able to eat at the end of the month. Unless I can fix this situation and be creative. Do deals, put things together, put people together, restructure things, dig deep, use different strategies, tactics that only work right now in this market. And that's exactly what I did and what I share with you guys on this podcast 2, 3, 4 times a week for free. So let me ask you guys a question. If you own or rent a property, okay? This is how you can get agents calling you with opportunities, bringing you into the loop of deals, building relationships fast right now during the coronavirus so you guys can get rich off of this. This is how you get a constant flow of unlimited opportunities that can be an unlimited income so you can get everything you need, money, wealth, relationships, whatever it is right now during the coronavirus. So if you own a property, or you rent a property, all you need to do is list that property on Gumtree. It's 100% free. If you rent a property, list that property on Gumtree, or just make one up if you can. Borrow a friend's property, borrow the address, borrow the pictures, etc., or use a family member's and list it on Gumtree. Now, I'm talking about if you haven't got properties and you're just getting started. If you have, great, just list one of your own ones. But if you haven't, you need to be creative. Think outside the box. Let me explain what I mean by that and why you need to put a property on Gumtree right now. When you have a property on Gumtree to rent or for sale, if it's for sale by owner, agents right now, letting agents, estate agents, what are they doing? They're trying to find new business. How are they trying to find new business? They're all sitting at home on their computers, on the internet, trying to find new customers. Where are the customers? Advertising privately on Gumtree or for sale by owner. There's many websites out there. I don't need to go into those details. Just Google it. For sale by owner websites or Gumtree. Landlords advertising properties to rent. So then what happens? The phone rings. An agent in your city will call you. Okay? Rent-to-rent companies, rent-to-rent people, rent-to-rent investors, short-letting companies, relocation companies, they will call you as well, replying to your advert. When you put the property up for sale by owner companies or listings or websites, the estate agents will call you. And what's the one thing they have in common? They think you're a seller or you're a landlord and you've either got a property to sell or to rent and they want to do business with you. It really is that simple, okay? Now, you can always say that unfortunately that property they're calling about has just been let. Or you may say you have others. You may say then at that time that you buy property or you lease property or you introduce yourself or you say what you do, and then it opens up the dialogue from that one moment. You be creative, you do something different, you think outside the box, you list a property that you have or even you don't have on those websites right now. The phone starts ringing. Agents are calling you. This is the valuers. Okay, this is the surveyors or the valuers, the one person that you want to speak to. This is the one person that has all the answers to everything that you need if you're in the property business and you're looking for deals, whether you're just getting started or whether you're up and running and you don't know how to get in front of the person who makes the decisions in that branch, in that agency, in that company. And this is it. Fuck, this is the answer. The opportunity is right now, my friends. You can have all of these people calling you, okay? Obviously, when they call you, that's your moment. That's your time. That's when you can open the dialogue. You can start the process of building the relationship. You can say that maybe that property's gone, but you have others, etc., that may come up from time to time, and then you start to talk to them. You start to build rapport. You find out a bit more about them. They find a bit more about you. Then you suggest, well, what you're looking for and what else you can help with, and have they got anything on their books that isn't renting if you're involved in rent to rent. Then you can ask them, what have you got that hasn't sold or hasn't rented or still sitting vacant now? What have you got along these lines? We may be able to work together and help each other. Is this stuff starting to make sense? Is it starting to make sense? It really is that simple. So let me ask you this, or let me tell you this. When can this be used? The first one's easy. Whenever you need to make more money. Does anybody listening to this need to make more money right now? That's exactly when you can use this tactic. Also, if you're looking to expand your network, if you want to expand your network, this tactic enables you to do exactly that. Have all of these companies, agencies, rent-to-rent people, relocation companies, guaranteed rent companies, corporate relocations, all calling you. Then you get their phone number. Then you get their name. Then you've got their email. Then they're on the end of the phone. Now they're in your phone contact. Now you can talk to them. Now you can follow up with them. Now you can ask them what else they have. Now you can, see what else is going on. And you can do deals with these people to expand your network. This helps you build your business. This will help you replace your salary. If you're looking to build a big company, if you're looking to succeed at whatever it is that you want right now, whatever your financial goals are, in your town, in your city, or in the city that you choose to operate and do business in, wherever that may be over the UK, that is the location where you would list this advert. Fuck, this has worked for me so many times in the past. So many times in the past. We even used to do this as like a fishing expedition. Let me give you another example. Many years ago, I was looking for investors that could invest money into property deals that my company would find. And I used, say, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20 other investors to then buy lots of property in bulk with them. My company was controlling everything. They come along. We was using the power of buying in bulk. Let me give you an example. There was around 15 or 16 properties on one site in Cardiff Bay around about 2006 that I bought. Now, it was George Wimpey was the developer. And I remember I needed to buy a certain amount of properties to reach a certain level of discount, which off the top of my head was probably about 25 to 30%. Now, what I did was obviously had to find investors that I could invest alongside, or they would invest alongside me, my company. I would give them, a share of the discount that I got, which enabled me to get however many properties I wanted at that level of discount, buying in bulk. So what did I do? When I didn't have enough investors, we had the pay-per-click campaign going non-stop, spending thousands every single month. But I also used this strategy, a Gumtree strategy, a local newspaper strategy, advertising a discounted property for sale. Maybe I had it, maybe I'd sold it, maybe it was a friend's, maybe it wasn't even real at the time, but putting it on the market for sale at a little bit below the market value. What does that do? Fuck. It flushes out the investors in that town, in that city. Then they start contacting you or me right then to say, hello, I'm an investor, I'm a cash buyer, etc. I'm looking to buy in this particular street. This is my name, this is my email. I'm ready to move. This is my position. This is my lawyer. I'd like to do the deal. And then what do you do with that? Use that information, use those investors, use those people that are ready to go. And then whenever you have a deal, whenever you have an opportunity, Once you've obviously spoken to them and vetted them, found out they have got the funds and they are in a position to move and where they want to invest, that's it. It really is that simple. You don't need to go on some £10,000 training course to discover this shit. This is real. This is just the type of things that investors do all day, every day, being creative. So you guys can succeed at whatever you want, whatever your financial goals are, as long as you think outside the box. This is just one tactic I'm sharing with you guys today in this episode. So let's talk about the negative consequences. If you don't do this, if you don't manage to, execute this strategy, if you don't do this shit right now, you will get nothing. Now, if you're afraid to pick the phone up when the phone rings because you've followed what I said, you've placed the advert, now you've got an agent calling you. If you're afraid to pick the phone up when it rings, you might be thinking, what will I say to them? Or what don't I say to them? You might even be thinking, what if I say the wrong thing? And then you might say, well, what if they know that I'm just starting out? What if they know I'm a property investor imposter? Fuck that. If you have these voices in your head, there's no amount of property courses that are going to get you what you want. Because tactics, strategies to make money are not what you need. You need a fucking mindset coach if that's what you're thinking. Forget buying another shitty course. Put that money on black in the casino or invest that money in a fucking mindset coach because that's what you need. No more drugs from some property course selling company who tries to sell you shit that you don't need. That's not what you need. If you've got any of those voices, which is okay. If you're just starting out, if you're a beginner, that's okay. But you don't need another property course. You need a fucking mindset coach. Get your mind right. Get your house in order. Get that shit together and everything will come in an abundance. But you're not going to find it as like a drug where some of these course selling companies have got you on like life support. They suck you in with something free. And then the something free isn't really free. It's just a fake free because they're just fucking manipulating you with some marketing and sales tactics to get you into their fucking funnel. And then when you're inside, they give you some basic information, which they would say, imagine it's like a value ladder, number 1 to number 10. You come in on the free thing, then they give you enough information as number 1. And then when you buy at the end of number 1, they take you to level 2. Yeah. Now you're at level 2. And then when you get to the end of level 2, where you're just getting built up enough, then they offer you level 3. Now you're buying at level 3. You're talking and doing different things and, finding out more at level 3. And then they offer you level 4. Fuck. You need level 4. You can't stop at level 3 because you're never going to get to the next level. You have to get level 4. So you buy. You buy number 1, you buy level 2, you buy level 3, you buy level 4, all the way end to level 10 or wherever the top of their value ladder is. But now you're spending 20 grand or you spent 20 grand already and now you're in some fucking overpriced fucking mentorship, some fucking bollocks that you don't fucking need. That's the reality out there. That's the reality. I've been doing this nearly 20 years. And that's what I see everywhere getting peddled. Fuck, I give away my best fucking content for free every single day on this podcast for free. How can you hold that back? Just talk when you know certain things and then condition yourself to speak to only give away level 1 because I need to buy level 1 before I'm going to talk about level 2 with them. I can't talk about level 10 or 8, 9, 10 stuff because they need to buy level 1 and level 2 first before they even get to level 3. So no, they can't come into this club. I can't talk to them about this. I can't share that info. I've got to keep that back. I've got to keep that back. That's what they're thinking. That's how they structure everything that they do. It's fucking shocking. It's terrible. But anyway, fuck that. That's the truth. That's a truth bomb. So let's look at some of the opportunities. The positive things that can come from this. Right now, you need to provide for your family. It's your duty. You also need to make sure that your bank doesn't go down to zero. In this fucking coronavirus, shit is real. You need to get your family through this. Now, if you don't want to downsize, if you don't want to be, I don't know, or seen as a disappointment to your family because you did nothing to save them when you could have done something, you can actually hold your head high as a man or as a woman and beat this fucking coronavirus. Get shit done because shit is real now. Now you need to go and do moves, make things happen. Be creative just to stay in business at the least, and if you want to thrive. My friend, you need to dig deep and sort things out. Sort your shit out now. Get your game together now, right now. Otherwise, you could sink. You may never build the confidence to come back after this if you don't move now. Right now, it's your time. You need to put the work in. You need to execute on these tactics. This is one tactic that I've shared with you. How you can get rich off of coronavirus to get an unlimited amount of opportunities, unlimited access to deals, to properties to buy, to properties to rent, properties you can do rent to rent with, relationships you can build. This is how you can make the most of this right now and get rich off the coronavirus. I said it again. Or it's game over for you and your family. Nobody wants that. Let me step in real quick. I share a ton of business and investment tactics on this show, and it's a shame that there's no interaction on a platform like this, which is why I've created a Facebook community group called Property Crash Course, where I get to answer all of your questions. So you just post a deal or post a question and I'll show you where the money is in your deal or answer your question for you. So help me to help you and your business right now by asking me anything you need help with. Does that sound fair? Just go to Facebook and then search the groups and then type in Property Crash Course. So I decided to start this project for you guys. It's really me just putting together the best strategies which work right now in 2020 in the heart of the coronavirus, where I can just restructure what I'm doing to get it all out of my head and literally on paper, on the internet, on YouTube, recorded, documented, everything else. So you guys can just literally put your name in, put your email in, click the link, and then consume that content, which will give you all the ideas that you need, all the confidence that you need. Damn. I mean, it really is fire. And I've literally spent probably, my team have probably spent, without thinking time and everything else, and planning and structuring everything else, probably about a month's worth of work has gone into it. Fuck. A month's worth of work. And you know what's really funny? It's absolutely free. There's no back-end upsell. There's no, mentoring program on the back end. I mean, like some of these other people, what they're doing everywhere on every corner of the internet. There's none of that crap. It's just literally me just giving back to you guys, saying thank you to everybody who listens to this podcast, everybody who follows my content, and anybody that wants to literally change their life for the better. Anybody looking to replace their salary, anybody looking to, get their time back so they no longer have to exchange their time for money. I mean, damn. You want your time back so you can do whatever you want with your family, okay? Instead of having to literally exchange your time for money. So that's the reason why part of the reason why I put this together. Just to give something to you guys so you can understand exactly what investors are doing right now. I mean, serious investors, not somebody who just started out in property. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years now, since the millennium, when I first started to invest in property in the millennium, okay? Now, actually going back to the millennium, let me think about that. That was a 2-bedroom flat that I bought. I've just remembered. It was a 2-bedroom flat that I bought, and I couldn't even get a mortgage because of my position. I was studying, I was at university, etc. I didn't have, the pay slips and everything else that you need, and I was young, and I used a mortgage host back then. I'll probably go in depth about that in another episode. It's just giving me an idea to, I'll share that in another episode with you guys where I can go a lot deeper. But yeah, staying on track today, I just want to talk to you about literally what's been happening, what I've been doing behind the scenes to put this together for you guys so you can actually see everything going on behind the scenes. If you're inside already, and if you're not inside this program, which is 100% free, then it's going to give you some ideas, give you maybe some inspiration, give you maybe the confidence to obviously head over to the URL, put your name and email in, join, and get instant access to this content, this training. And once again, it's 100% free, so there's no risk for you guys. Okay, so what have I been doing? I've literally put together this, it's a crash course. I've called it a property crash course. Now, I think the name is appropriate. I think the name's fantastic. I think it's perfect for the timing right now in this economic crash. So you guys can literally get everything that you need. So, it literally goes through 5 main things which worked in the aftermath of the 2008 crash. And they're working right now in 2020. Now we're entering this new period of uncertainty. So these strategies only work in a climate like this. Now, there's obviously pros and cons to that, but the good thing about that is right now, it's possible to buy a property for £1. Now, you probably think that's a bit crazy if you're not an investor, or you're not already doing deals, or you're not in this circle, or you're not familiar with the terminology and what's possible, which is fine if you're just starting out. But obviously, if you're not just starting out, then you completely understand that it is possible to buy a property for £1. Now, I go into this in a lot more depth when you head over to propertycrashcourse.com. Everything is there that you guys need. So just head across, put your name, put your email in, and it'll give you instant access to this training. And like I said, it's 100% free. So it will teach you how to buy a property for £1 with no mortgage deposit. I mean, you don't need any credit. It really doesn't matter, okay? It's literally a very, very simple concept when you understand how it works. Anybody who hasn't used it before or is not familiar will say it's not possible. And then also, it shows you how to find properties with £25,000 to up to £50,000 instant equity that you can lock in on day one. And again, it doesn't cost you any more than £1 to lock in this instant equity. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy when you sit here now and just think about it. I'm thinking to myself, buying a property for £1. I completely understand and know how I felt before I knew this was possible, before I did any of these deals, which would have been somewhere around 2007, 2008 off the top of my head. Probably one of the first deals that I did like this, if I'm thinking back correctly. It would have been, around the aftermath of the 2007, 2008 crash when we first got into this, okay? Now, I was in this program, I put together how you can buy properties today, right? But then pay for them later. So imagine that, buying a property today, but paying for it later when it's worth a lot more. So buying as the market's falling, or as the market's crashing, or as the prices are declining, but then pay for the property later, and only pay for it later when it's worth thousands and thousands more. I mean, if anybody doesn't understand how fantastic that is and how amazing it is to be a property investor right now with all of these creative tools. I mean, these are only 5 which I'm sharing with you guys that work right now, and I put them all together so you can have them on your phone, in your ear, just listen to them, or just download them to give you basically everything that you need to have the confidence that you can actually go out and start doing this, okay? And then another strategy which works right now is renting HMOs. Renting student properties, and renting any property at all, but with a difference. up to 75% below the market rent. I mean, that's madness. Who would think that's possible to go out right now and see a property and rent it for up to 75% below the market rent? I'm doing these deals now. I've done these deals before. I did some of these deals at the end of last year in a portfolio that I took over. Again, it works right now. It's timing in the market. You'll be really, well, when you get inside and understand that, it's fantastic for anyone who just wants to get started. If you can imagine, if you just want to get into property now, you can just go and rent a property and then rent it for a lot more. So you just go and rent a property, which everybody could do in a few hours. Go on the internet, go onto Rightmove or go onto Gumtree or go onto OpenRent or any other platform you prefer. Find the property, arrange the viewing, go and see it, say, yes, I like it, send them the money, enter the contract, and then boom, you're off. That's it. It really is that simple. Of course, there's certain things you have in the contract which just gives you the permission and the consent that you can then re-rent that property to somebody else. It really is that simple. But the twist is that you can get it for up to 75% below the market rent. So let's just imagine, instead of it costing 1,000 local market rent, you could get it for, say, 250. Even if you got it for 500, that is a massive margin of 500 to 750 pounds every single month, which is more than the landlord would be making anyway right now, or even for the last 5, 10, or even 20 years. There's not many landlords that are making more than 5 or 750 pounds a month on top of all of their expenses and maintenance costs and running costs and things like that. So I want you guys to head over there. It's propertycrashcourse.com. Put your name in, put your email in, jump inside, listen to all of the training in there, and seriously, just let me know what you think. It's completely free, guys, okay? And then another strategy, which is included in these 5 tactics you need right now, which is raising money from other people's properties that you rent. So let's just put that into perspective of what that means. Raising money on a property that you've rented that you don't even own. Raising money from other people's properties that you rent. It doesn't even make sense when I say it to myself again and again and again. Does it make sense to you guys? Raising money on somebody else's property that you don't even own. It seems like madness. Again, anybody else on the outside would not think this is possible because they just don't understand. And what you don't understand, naturally you would think it's not possible because you've never seen it done, or you've never done it, or you've never known anybody else to do it. And it just sounds too out there, like that's just impossible. They're just lying. They're just lying. They just made that crap up. Absolutely no way. We're doing it. We've been doing it for a long time. Raising up to £14,000 from a property that you have just rented. If you need any money to get started, if you need get started cash, if you need to prop up your business, if you need to reinvest that money into some cash flowing deals, which is exactly what I've always used that strategy for, not to buy dumb shit and go and put, 6 months down on a flipping Lamborghini that you lease, or a new car or something else, or a luxury holiday. Well, you can't even travel now anyway, so there'll be no holidays. But I mean, you use it wisely. It's money that you have to pay back. But if you can borrow it at 0% interest and get it like that by understanding this strategy, and then you move it into something else that's more profitable. Let's say you move it into more of these deals that I talk about, because they do need some money up front. They do need some mortgages or rents paid in advance. They do need some deposits paid. They do need some furnishing or dressing or styling. So there is some costs, of course. But you're going into business. Whatever strategy you choose is a business. So there is some costs, of course. If this shows you a way or a path or a strategy or a tactic that enables you to borrow all of the money that you need, 100% of the money, at 0% interest, why would you not use this strategy? Only if you're mad. Of course you would use this strategy. And again, if you go over to propertycrashcourse.com, put your name, put your email in, I will walk you through, take you deep into exactly how to do these 5 things. Buy a property for £1, find properties with 25 to 50,000 pounds equity in, buy properties today, but don't pay for them until they're worth a lot more later. In 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years later, I'm talking about. And then renting student properties, HMO properties, any properties up to 75% below the market rent. That's massive cash flow. And then raising money up to £14,000 that I've done from properties that you rent. I want to make sure that you guys have got everything you need, all the tools right now in this climate, so you can obviously, achieve whatever goal it is you're looking to achieve. That's what I'm here for, to help any of you guys with that. This has actually taken me probably about a month of actual time with me and my team actually putting this together. I mean, it wasn't easy, and it's not even for sale. It doesn't make any money. It doesn't generate any money. It doesn't make any profit. It's just an exercise that I've done and put together to give away to you guys and anybody else who's looking basically for other ways to make money right now. Property is my vehicle. I've been in property since the millennium. I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. It has its ups and downs and peaks and troughs and booms and busts and recessions that I've been through, all of them since the millennium. Way before many of you guys on here even got started in property as well. You know, that's 20 years. And what I've learned over those 20 years is there's hundreds of strategies. There's hundreds of ways to make money from property. And it just comes down to timing and what you're like as well. What you prefer. You may prefer to have lots of customers, dealing with lots of people. You may prefer to just work on one big project once a year, something big that you develop. You only work with a very small handful of people, and that might be what you prefer. But there's so many different strategies, okay? But it all comes down to timing. Right now, these 5 strategies that I'm sharing with you here and I've put together in this property crash course are built for the now. They're not built for last year. They're not built for 2019. Not built for a trend that everybody's jumping on. They're not built for something that everybody's exhausted, all of these guru course sellers. Fuck that. It's nothing to do with that. This is what works right now. And we had to pivot my company, and this is exactly what we're doing. This is what I did in the aftermath of the 2008 crash. I've used some of these strategies before the 2008 crash, and it's come around again where they work right now. But damn, it wasn't easy at all. I mean, I've literally had to record everything. So behind the scenes, I've been recording everything, sitting here in my office, documenting everything, putting some training together, putting this program together, trying to give you guys as much value as possible from doing these types of deals and sharing with you how it works and, you know, when you can do it and the negative consequences, the positive opportunities relating to that strategy and, you know, what is it all about so you guys know enough about it and all of those things. How does it work? The tactics and strategies. Oh my God. It's been a lot of work, to be honest, and I've had to create this, everything. I've created everything from scratch. So if you can imagine, if I go back to the start, I've recorded and documented all of the content for you guys. And then I've had to record videos on YouTube and send that off to my team. That's been a challenge alone, especially with the distancing, especially with the social distancing. And, you know, my guy that I use, he works or he's at university. So he's got all of the tech, all of the stuff that he needs, all of the programs, all of the devices, the computers, everything, the software in the university. And what's happened? The university's closed. So he's literally working on his laptop at home, producing the videos, producing the audio, producing the visuals and the sound effects and everything else that goes with creating something of value that I can, be proud about and deliver to you guys. So that's been challenging alone. And then there's the ClickFunnels. We use ClickFunnels to deliver this to you guys. I've got a membership site in there I've had for, a long time now. Again, we don't charge anybody for that. It's to teach and to train our partners, our joint venture partners that we find. We teach them everything they need to know about making money from property. They then go out and find the deals with my help, my support, me mentoring them. And again, we don't charge them anything. We partner with them. And then I put all the funds in and help them close the deal and basically hold their hand all the way and help them build their own profitable property portfolios in different cities around the UK. And right now in 2020, we're in 5 different cities in the UK. The last time I checked, maybe more. We're branching out into another one now, but we haven't got any deals there yet. So we're now in 5 independent cities. So this works. So I've got a membership site, which is in ClickFunnels, and trust me, that's been a nightmare alone. I haven't built anything in ClickFunnels for a long time, and there's been landing pages that I've got to build to house all of this content and to get you guys to put your name and email in at the start, and that has been a struggle alone, especially when you're going back to it when you haven't done it for a long time. But I know it's worth it, and I know you guys will get value from it. And then it's linking everything in ClickFunnels to GoDaddy, the hosting, and everything else. There's so many moving parts, and then linking all of that to Aweber, which is what delivers the content to you guys in the emails, and writing all the email sequences and the different strategies and structures, and then the content that goes with it, and the proofreaders, because I am diabolical at writing. Spelling, punctuation, grammar. It's never been good, and it's never getting any better. So everything I send out goes off to Josie, my proofreader. She's been doing it for probably, 8-9 years, somewhere around there. Everything goes to her before any of you guys see it. If you ever see anything that's got spelling mistakes and punctuation, it just means that I had to send you something at that time. And that's me. It's shocking. It really is. But it is so rewarding at the same time. I mean, putting together the Facebook group. We've put together a brand new Facebook group for all of you guys, everybody that comes in, and the emails that you get, and the strategies that I share and the tactics I share at propertycrashcourse.com, where you get to buy a property for £1, find properties with 25 to 50,000 pounds of equity in, buy properties today and don't pay for them until later when they're worth more. And then renting HMOs, renting student properties up to 75% below the market rent. That's massive cash flow. And then raising money up to about £14,000 from a property that you rent. That's what I've been working on, and that's why it's rewarding. But again, the Facebook group, it's sent out with every email, so all of you guys get to ask questions about every single strategy, every single tactic that I'll be answering just for you guys, because I want all of you to get as much value from this as possible. So I've put a lot of work into it, with me talking and structuring things and going through deals that we've done recently and old deals that we've done as well, and why it's the right time to do this. So I just want to make sure that all of you guys are making the most of, the time that you have at home now, making the most of the time that you have off. Some people are getting paid, some people aren't. It's tough times out there. But this stuff doesn't need to be expensive. You don't need to go and spend thousands to buy this stuff. Information is free if you know where to look for it. There's so many podcasts out there now. There's so many good people in the market, in the industry, that have no agenda to sell you something else later. So they only sell you up to level 10 in their value ladder. And they just want you to come in and get something free at the start, so then they can sell you something later. That's not really, well, I understand that's business, but when you don't rely on selling courses to make money, when you're actually doing or if you were doing what the course teaches yourself, if you're actually doing those deals, You wouldn't need to sell courses to people to pay your bills or for you to live that lifestyle, because you'd be making your money somewhere else instead of relying on selling information so that other people can buy the information. So maybe you don't have to actually do the deals, or maybe you just do one deal and then you sell the strategy of how to do the one deal, but make more money off selling the information on how you did the deal instead of making money off of actually doing the deals. That's where I'm the opposite way round. Doing the deals, making money from the deals. That's why this is free. 100% free. Damn, I put my best content out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week on this podcast, just to help you guys as much as I can, because I don't need to monetize my audience. I don't need to make money from my audience. I make money elsewhere in my business, from my property portfolio, from other investments that I've got, from other sources of income. So right now, guys, this is completely free. I just want you to head over propertycrashcourse.com, listen to the training, let me know what you think, ask questions, join the Facebook group. It's in the link. When the training is delivered, join the group, ask questions so I can help you guys with anything that you need. If you really want to make a success, if you really want to replace your salary, if you really want to get your time back, if you really want to provide for your family right now when they need you the most. I want to be the one that has shown you the path of how you can actually do that, and it doesn't cost you anything at all. I hope you get some value from this episode. I would love to hear your thoughts, so hit me up in the review. Let me know what you think about this. Leave your review on Apple Podcasts. Let me know what you think about this episode. And I'll see you on the next episode. So what I really find interesting about everything that's happening right now in the market, what I find that's interesting is the fact that it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing that I'm sharing now. The fact that some deals that we looked at, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, which we spent all the time valuing them, meeting the owners or meeting the landlords, meeting the investors, meeting the sellers, whoever they were, whatever position they were in. What we found is, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months ago, many of or all of those deals that I'm talking about, which were a maybe, or the deals which were a straight no, so rejected for whatever reason, what I've found is, or what you guys will also find is, right now, obviously during the pandemic, we're in a completely different market. And many of the deals that I just completely wrote off, a long time ago, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months ago, just completely wrote them off thinking, the wheels have come off the negotiations, or the wheels have fallen off of the relationship nurturing, or they've even gone away and found another buyer or customer or tenant or investor or company to work with, and that door is, completely closed right now. What I found is many of those people, which was a straight no then, have now come back, have rekindled negotiations, and some of them have even gone through or gone back on them saying no, and now they've done a complete U-turn to a yes, they will do the deal. And they'll actually do the deal not only on the terms which were offered, all of that time ago, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, they're actually entering into new terms, which is a bit more favorable to me, to my company right now. So what I've learned is you should never really rule out the deals that you didn't do. You should never really rule out the relationships which you put in place some time ago. You should never really rule out, the people that said no at the time. Because, in hindsight, you never actually know what is around the corner. You really never know what is around the corner. I mean, I've sat there sometimes with, maybe many of us have done this, but a deal that you've put a lot of work in, a lot of time into, a lot of effort into. It was one particular deal, actually, I'm thinking of, that comes to mind, a recent one, which was a hotel. okay? A converted hotel converted, okay? Now, what this comes to mind in this deal because I put a lot of time in, a lot of work in, a lot of effort in. It literally cost me a lot of time and cost me a lot of emotions. The negotiations went on for weeks, for months, from 1 year into another year. In fact, these negotiations went on. And it started off as a no, and then it turned to a maybe, and then it went to a yes, and then it went to but yes, but you can't have the whole thing, and then it was up and down and on and off and in and out, and in the end it was like, finished, and then they came back, and then it was like yes, and went on and on from 1 year to another year. And I remember there was a turning point where it could have gone very bad, because it got to the point that I could have said something wrong, or said something negative, or said something from an emotional place, not logical, not playing the game of business, not playing the game of being an entrepreneur, not going through those motions. I could have said something, I was ready to say something, which would have just completely killed the deal, and probably killed any chance of rekindling that deal in the future. Maybe me getting too emotional, too attached, too presumptuous, thinking it's my deal. I've invested time, I've invested energy, I've invested money. How could they do this to me? Do they know who I am? Maybe overreacting and a bit of narcissism, and that could have ruined the deal for me. I remember driving one day. I was actually at the top of the racecourse in Brighton, going over the hill, when I had those thoughts of, well, fuck them if they're not going to agree to this. And, I've done everything they've asked for and more, and I've moved the goalposts and I've done this. I mean, who do they think they are asking for these things? No, fuck them. I'm going to ring them, and I'm going to tell them that they're out of order, or they're this, or they're that, or they should have done this, or this is an amazing deal, this is an amazing offer, just look at it. How could you not accept it? How could you be looking for other offers? How could you be unsure? Why are you not doing the whole building? Etc., etc. That's me just getting maybe too emotional, maybe too narcissistic, maybe too presumptuous, maybe too, I don't know, maybe just me being me, where it went on and on and on and got to the stage where I thought, this is my deal, we've done the deal, even when the deal hadn't been done, okay? So maybe I just overreacted a bit, but I do remember exactly where I was driving, when I had those exact thoughts that could have ruined the deal. Anyway, as we go forward, many months later, into a new year later, that deal ended up, everybody entered into the deal. That deal is now up and running successfully. As it happens, in the last few weeks, that one deal has turned into another deal, another property with the exact same developer. So now we're on our second deal with the same developer. Now, if I would have said the wrong thing at that time, if I would have got too upset at that time, if I would have just told them my thoughts and not held my tongue, we wouldn't have any of these deals right now. We wouldn't have the first deal. We wouldn't have the second deal. So it really does come down to, just planting those seeds and really just being patient, because nobody ever knows what's around the corner. What might be a no back then can very easily turn into a maybe or a yes just further down the line, okay? You never know what's around the corner, so you don't want to burn those bridges, okay? Now, what I found is, taking all of that on board, what I found is that, we're still, or since the coronavirus, we're even more active than we were before. And that's part of hunger. That's part of a necessity. And that's part of being nervous about the market. And it's part of me trying to, or wanting to, or actually doing, not even trying, generating more money. We're expanding our way out of this pandemic. We're expanding through the pandemic. The best way, instead of contracting, which many of you guys think of straight away. There's so many business people, entrepreneurs, companies, investors, just human beings doing something that when something like this happens, their first thought is to contract. Do less phone calls. Do less ad spend. Do less marketing. Go to less meetings. Call less people. Just doing less. Contracting. Fire this one. Fire that one. Cancel this contract. Just everything contracts. Everything gets smaller until you find that you're so worried. You're so nervous. You're so scared. You're so fearful that everything has been cut. And even things that you need in business has been cut or has been withdrawn or has been taken away. So then you find you've just gone back to like a shell or like a core or like just a skeleton of what you once were, just as a victim of the market, just fearful. I understand how bad things are. I understand that people are worried, people are nervous. I understand that some people don't even know if they're going to be able to meet their rent or their bills or their expenses or pay for food, or travel or, their car or anything at all, their rent, their mortgage. Literally tomorrow, literally next week, literally next month, I know that this is happening right now. But the worst thing is if we just contract and do nothing. So my philosophy, my motto, right now has been to carefully expand out of this pandemic. And by expanding out of the pandemic, I mean we're now doing Facebook adverts. We're now doing YouTube adverts. 3 months ago we had no Facebook adverts. 3 months ago we had no YouTube adverts. 3 months ago, the adverts on YouTube and Facebook were probably 30, 40, 50% more. So now there's actually an opportunity in it, and because of so many people are doing less, they're contracting, not expanding, because they're nervous and fearful, which is understandable. Because of that, there's less people advertising on those platforms, which means more people see your advert or see our advert, more eyeballs, more interest, more exposure, all for less money. All for less money. Right now, the ad spend is probably 30, even 40% less than what it was 3, 6, 9 months ago. Just because there's people leaving the market, contracting. We've even got landlords, we've even got investors that we're calling now, which again they're more reluctant to say yes now. So these guys which have said no before, right now we're picking the phone up, we're calling people the old school way, getting on the phone, dialing their number, ringing them up, talking to them, finding out what they need, handling their objections, and then trying to formulate a mutually beneficial deal that works for them and works for us. Now, many of these guys, many of these landlords, many of these investors, many of these letting agents would all have just said no 6 or even 12 weeks ago. Before the pandemic, they would have just said no. No, we're not interested in doing that. No, we don't, you can't run the property as a hotel. No, you can't sublet. No, we're not interested in taking that offer. It's below the advertised price. And just no, 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 no. What we're finding right now is they're saying yes, 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 yes to more or less everything and anything that we're asking and offering. Now, that's not to take advantage. That's to still create a mutual, it's a mutual beneficial deal for both parties. It's just, now they're being more realistic, I could say. Now they're being more, more realistic to what's really happening, when before it was just a case of, we don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need to introduce you to our client. We don't need to work with you. We don't need you to take properties from us. We don't need anything from you. That's how it was before. I'm talking just a few months ago. And right now, we have landlords we've called before, investors we've called before, which said no, which are now saying, yeah, maybe, or let's get together, or let's do this. Here's my property. Can you take some more? Yes, I wanted $2,000 a month. I'm happy to take $1,400, $1,500 right now. The market has completely changed. There is opportunities all around us, guys, as long as you guys just look for them. As long as you look for them. There's opportunities around everywhere, as long as you guys just look for them. So all I can say is, as long as you're Well, as long as you know the numbers, as long as you know your own numbers of, the field that you're in, as long as you know that things have changed and things have come down considerably, dramatically, as long as you understand what those margins are, there is money to be made. There is more money to be made right now than there ever has been before. And if you can't find ways of making money right now, if you're struggling, if you can't find or see the opportunities where they are right now, if you're struggling, then I've put together a community on Facebook, okay? Now, it's called the Property Crash Course or Property Crash Course. Now, in that community, it's just been opened up during the pandemic, and it's just inviting people into that community to ask questions, to get their questions answered. So if you're listening to this episode right now and you're thinking, well, you can't see where the money is right now in your business, or you can't see where the next opportunity is, or you can't see how to get yourself out of this, or you can't see where this is going to head or what you should do. If you've got any questions like that, or anything that I've said on this episode or in these episodes that would help you, anything that I've said at all, I just want you to head over to that. It's on Facebook. It's called Property Crash Course. It's a group. All you need to do is request to be a member of that group, and I'm literally answering all of your questions on there. There's nothing for sale. It's just me answering your questions and helping you, putting our minds together, putting our heads together, forming a mastermind in that sense, and just trying to find the angles, and happy to help anybody who may be struggling right now. Okay, so this episode turned out to be a little bit unusual. It started off as just like a diary of a CEO, and then it's turned to just reflecting on what's happening right now, and so many people that we call are having problems and faced with problems and got cash flow problems and tactic problems and strategy issues and firing staff, and they just don't know where the answers are. And the thing is, I don't know where all the answers are. I don't think everybody knows where all the answers are. But when you've been through, an economic crash of 2008, when you've been investing for 20 years, when you're, a creative and logical and lateral thinker, it's always good to have those people around you. It's always good to ask questions of those people. It's always good to get a second opinion. It's always good to, find the angles and talk to someone who's actually in the trenches doing these deals and evolving like that, and, opening new companies during the pandemic and expanding their existing companies during the pandemic and, expanding, not contracting. It's always good and useful to have those people around you. So yeah, this episode turned out to be a slightly different episode. My thoughts and prayers go out to you if you have, if you or any of your loved ones are, suffering right now from the pandemic, by being ill, by being sick, by not seeing your loved ones, or even if it comes down to money, if you're struggling with money right now, my thoughts and, prayers go out to you guys. But there is a way. There is ways to make money, and I think it comes down to just having access to the right people and having access to the right information. So if you have any questions about any of these episodes, you can literally just find me there, Property Crash Course. It's on Facebook. It's a group. It's free. We can connect there. You can ask me anything you want. And I'm happy to look over some of your property deals. Happy to look over some of the deals which you might already have, which are losing money. Happy to look over some of your other deals where maybe there's money left on the table. Happy to look at restructuring some of your things with you, to help you to increase your cash flow right now. So just reach out to me on there, you guys, and I'd love to help.
He's a #1 Amazon bestseller. He's an NLP manipulator. He's a property course seller. He's a Lamborghini driving multi-millionaire property guru. Forget that same old boring I am me narcissistic podcast format, because nobody gives a f***. This podcast is all about you. So I'm taking these few seconds to thank you for subscribing, to thank you for leaving your 5-star reviews, and thank you for sharing this show with all of your friends. My team and I will keep bringing you these episodes and answering all of your burning questions in my Facebook community group called Property Crash Course. If you can just keep telling all of your friends about this show.